town, and to me, coal mining and eastern Kentucky are synonymous. Just as eastern Kentucky is changing, so is the coal mining industry.
And that's why we're here today at Martin County Coal. Hi, I'm Viv Harris, this is Betty Marshall, and this is our Appalachia.
Coal mining and the coal miner, they've changed dramatically in the last decade.
Well, some of us pump the water, some of us lay the track, and some of us load and gob all day, and oh, our aching back. But now we rock, yeah, rock on down the line.
And what exactly is a coal miner today? We talked to Raymond Bradbury, president of Martin County Coal.
A coal miner today is a person, in most cases a very skilled operator, equipment operator. He may be operating a continuous mining machine, a roof bolt machine, a piece of haulage equipment, a truck, a bulldozer, a front end loader. He might be an employee in a preparation plant, a stationary equipment operator, or a plant control man or person. But he's a highly skilled individual for which he is rather highly paid. He certainly is not the stereotype image that many people have thought of from years past, that he's using nothing but brawn and muscle, and he's engaged in a lot of shoveling and using a pick. And this day and time, he has traded most of those tools for controls, which he is maneuvering and using a rather expensive and large piece of equipment, whether it be underground or on the surface.
I could detect a significant difference in the way these men who are working here feel about their profession, if you want to call it that, mining, and the way people felt a good number of years ago. What accounts for that upgrading in pride?
In years past, people did tend to, I believe, look down on the men in the coal mining business because it was a dirty job, and one that people had thought of as being a hard or difficult job, and that is physically difficult. And times have changed. The industry has modernized and mechanized over the last 25 years very greatly. And with the kind of pay scales that we have today and the salaries attendant with the jobs that we have available, there's no reason at all why a person shouldn't take pride in that, because this job has then let them save their money, buy fine homes, automobiles, a second automobile or a pickup truck to use to come to work, campers, vans, take vacation trips to Florida or out west or to other parts of the country, and just be able to do things that those coal miners of 20, 25, 30 years ago were just not able to do.
Now soon we'll be back working, so buddy, don't you fear. I'll take my red-edged shovel, you can have my rocking chair. If you like to rock, hey rock on down the line.
What's your favorite part about coal mining?
Well, it's, I guess, starting a job and having the satisfaction of seeing it through. like when I started with this company here, it was a young company, and I've been with it eight and a half years now, and just watching it advance, you know, the work you put into it, and watching your company advance, grow.
It's an exciting profession. It's one that's quite a bit safer now than it was 20 years ago when, or 30 or 40 when my father was working in the mines. There's more emphasis being placed on the health and safety aspects of mining, and the environment underground and on the surface mines has changed, I think, for the better, and it's a much safer environment now. Of course, money is probably the thing that attracts them initially, but I think after a person gets into the industry, they're held there by not only the money, but by the environment they're working in and the challenge of the industry and the rewards they get from the job they're performing.
The individual worker knows that for the effort that he's putting in, he's going to be able to achieve something and accomplish something for himself and his family.
People we have working here, they know that they'll be here, they can be here 20 years from now, and they can work every day, and they can plan for these things. You know, they can buy their houses and finance them, and just they can have a lot more luxuries, items to what people had 10 years ago.
My dad was a coal miner. When he was a coal miner, it was, you know, it wasn't really a great, glamorous job. But through the efforts of a lot of organizations, they've made coal mining safe now. And inside's no different than working in a garage. You know, you've got a roof over you, they've got it supported, and it's just a safe job now. It's a little dirty, but a man that don't want to get dirty, he don't want to work too much.
How you work inside all day long when you come out to hear that song. It's the coal miner boogie, it's coal miner boogie, it's the coal miner boogie, it's coal miner boogie, it's the coal miner boogie, and you boogie woogie all night long. Oh, gee.
So do you feel like the image of the coal miner should be updated?
Well, I have an idea that if you speak of the entire country, certainly there are probably people today who might yet have the mistaken image of one who is toiling in back-breaking labor, that it's more a job of using muscle than it might be brains or skills, or, and having the ability to learn to run or operate equipment in that regard. But the people who live in our area, in the coal fields, are probably more aware that of the actual job skills and the occupations that a person might hold. I forgot earlier, I should have mentioned even mine electricians and mine mechanics have to be much better trained today than they ever used to be, because the equipment, as in many other industries, is much more sophisticated.
What type of training program do you have here?
A very comprehensive one that covers about every aspect of coal mining. It's mainly aimed toward the health and safety aspects. It teaches a guy to what hazards he needs to be aware of, what protection he can take to avoid those hazards.
If there was any place in the United States you could go that paid the same, that had the same benefits, would you go?
No.
Why?
Because I like it over here. It's safe mines.
Penny hole number 4 got you wore down. Blisters on your hand from picking around. That's the coal miner boogie. Hit the coal miner boogie. Hit the coal miner boogie, and you boogie woogie all night long. Oh, Dickie, let me hear it, son. Let me hear it.
Higher wages and improved working conditions are changing the world of today's miner.
So it's not just a brutal work anymore. It's highly mechanized, or whatever you'd say. I don't know. Machines do the digging the coal, and of course it takes men and trained men to run the machines. Coal mining's a big job, you know.
I think from a standpoint of the coal industry, we all feel now that it's a vital occupation we're in. It's one that the country has to have. We're going to have to overcome our energy shortages and problems, and I feel like we as coal miners can do that. And I think the nation is going to come to look toward Appalachia and the other coal fields in this country for a salvation, if you want to call it, to their energy problems.
Do you think that's going to help the image of the Appalachia area in general?
Oh, certainly it will, because whenever a country would become dependent upon any industry, and I think that is going to happen with coal, it's going to add some prestige to it. I think how do we look at the Arabs?
The business of mining coal is still the principal occupation of the Appalachian area of eastern Kentucky, in my estimation. We do have these resources available in our hills. We all are well aware of the need that our country has for producing this fossil fuel energy source to replace liquid fossil fuels, oil and gas, that we are presently importing.
From an energy standpoint, we know we need the energy, and it appears that coal is going to be the answer. And I think it's out of necessity that people are starting to look at it more objectively than they did before.
Basically, what we do here is we take the raw coal that's been mined underground and stripped, bring it into the plant, wash it, clean it, separate it, then stack it up in the clean coal pile, and from there it's loaded out. I couldn't say an exact number, but there's several of them, because the coal is separated into different sizes, and then from there each size coal goes through a different process, drying it or maybe crushing it, and then from there they all end up each different size that we have, which I think is basically about 4, no more than 5 different sizes separated into, but they all end up in the same place in the clean coal.
Why do you separate them into different sizes? Well,
it's separated into different sizes while it's raw, so that it can be separated from the refuge. You know, you bring it in, it's coal and refuge mixed, and they separate it, or the equipment does, into these different sizes, so that from there it can be separated, the coal from the refuge.
You have to be better educated to work in a coal mine now than you had to be, say, 10 years ago?
Yes, I do. Because mining machinery is getting more complicated, and it takes a real skill to run mining machinery these days, compared, you know, to the pick and shovel of quite a few years ago.
How about if people that work in the mines don't go to college for their education in this? Are there educational programs that they can go through?
Yes, we have our training programs here, you know, for people, especially people who are just hard-in new people, you know. We call them green hats. They have a program that they go through, and even the people who has quite a bit of experience, such as myself, we go to school every year here at this mine.
And what's the purpose of that?
It's training and retraining.
Would you have worked in the coal mine several years ago?
I don't think so. Not in the early. Had I been at the age to get into coal mine, say 40s and the 50s. But today, coal mining is I think it's one of the safest jobs that you can have.
You were raised in Pike County, in a coal community. Tell me about your first experience when you were a little boy. Were you scared of the coal mines?
Yes, I think so, because I'd heard of quite a few people getting killed inside of a coal mine, and at that time when I was real small, I didn't really, have any desire to go underground in a coal mine.
Describe that first time. What did you think about a coal mine? What was your impression?
Well, everything was dark, and it was real scary, because everything was dark, and I didn't really know what it was, what I was going into. I think that's why a lot of people are afraid of coal mines, because they don't really understand it.
How safe are the coal mines now?
Well, working in the coal mines now is much safer, I think, than what it was, say, 10 years ago. Really, working in the coal mines is as safe as you make it. I see that most mining families you see today, they have, for example, they have a car, a pickup truck, boat, and they just enjoy the time that they're not working. They enjoy it, their leisure hours more, I think.
Do most miners today now own their own homes?
Yeah, I think so. Most of the people that I'm acquainted with right here at Morton County Coal, our miners, most of them own their own home.
Do you think that's a significant difference in
yes.
What's in the future for you compared to what was in the future for miners a few years ago?
I think so.
How?
They see, like the young men who come here to work, they can see down the road, say 20 more years working for our company, and they have much more to build onto,
The pay was one thing, but I always said I'd never go into coal mining. Of course, coal mining has changed over the years. It's not like it used to be.
If you had a choice of going anywhere in the United States that got a job, paid the same, had the same benefits, would you leave Martin County?
I'm not sure according to what kind of job it'd be. As far as I'm concerned right now, I'll be here until I get ready to quit work, till I retire, if this place is still open.
No, I'm absolutely happy with what I'm doing. I like it, I enjoy it, I never intend to do anything else.
They tell you the attraction is the money. I think some of them, though, have, besides the money, have learned that it is a very good profession, and one which I hope that they're proud to be part of, the coal industry. Certainly is one. It's a profession that will stack up with any, this day and time, when you take a person who doesn't have any more than a high school education and can have an income of somewhere in the neighborhood of $30,000 a year, that's what attracts people to look to the coal business.
How have you seen the eastern Kentucky area change over the years?
Well, first of all, I've been in eastern Kentucky since 1941. And we do not have the coal mining camps, as they were called years ago, or coal mining communities. But the highways have certainly changed the image of this area and the picture for anybody in eastern Kentucky, in that people do not have to live right where the job, their occupation is. The improvement of the highways and the fact that a person can own his own property and doesn't mind driving 20, 30, even 40, and I have some employees who will drive 50 miles one way to get here to his job. But he owns his own property. The workers and the citizens of eastern Kentucky, those engaged in mining particularly, do not have to depend on the coal companies as we used to know them 30, 40 years ago for providing the place to live as well as the occupation.
Well, I figure that the coal mining industry helps eastern Kentucky in several different ways, mainly economics. That's been the biggest help, I think, to eastern Kentucky, as well as having eastern Kentucky recognized as, I think, the other part of Kentucky. With all the advanced equipment that we have today, coal is being mined at a much faster pace than it was 5 years ago. But I think coal mining will be in eastern Kentucky for a good number of years to go. People are really beginning to, recognize the fact that coal is their main industry into eastern Kentucky, and I think they're beginning to take advantage of it.
If I asked you to describe Appalachia, the area Appalachia, the area eastern Kentucky, how would you describe it?
It's a great place to be from.
1,000 miles away, and I will ride you. Beside a river gorge, I'll call your name. The telephone call won't make no sense at all in my Appalachian home, away from home.
First of all, I think it's a very beautiful part of our state, part of the country, Appalachia. A lot of people has a misconception of Appalachia. They think when you first say the word Appalachia, they mean, they think of, I guess, moonshine and things of this nature. But I think, having grown up in Appalachia, I think Appalachia is a really beautiful part of our country, and it's something I'm proud of. Proud to live here.